She's raised her hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll text. Do you want me to text her and tell her to?
So Jane is in. She's just not a,
Participant,
yeah,
Or
or make her,
panelist.
not a host, it's a
panelist.
panelist.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That'll work?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Perfect. Got it? Okay, so we will give this, now we will start. First up, do I hear a nomination for president of the board?
I'll nominate Sadie McKenzie for president.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And then we'll do a vote by roll call. So Jim,
Yes.
Ida,
Aye.
and then Jane.
Yes.
Okay, and I will say yes for myself, I suppose. Sadie McKenzie is elected as president for the ensuing year. All right, do I hear a nomination for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Ida.
I second. And then we'll do roll call. Jim,
Aye.
Ida,
Aye.
Jane,
Aye.
Ida, oh gosh, I don't know, what is your last name? Royer is elected as vice president for the ensuing year. I had a total brain. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's your last name? All right, and then we will have to talk about our legislative rep at a later date. Sorry about that. I blame it on my foot. All right, next up, we've got our student representative.
Great. Okay. Good evening. Are you joining us? No, you're just okay.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, well, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Thanks for being here. So this is our first official middle school board meeting with student reps. So the next time will be in February at the second February meeting. And so thanks for being here. I had sent you an email early this morning and I got back, you're going to be here. And then I asked you a couple things to consider to discuss, and you're always welcome to share anything that you want to share. But I think I'd asked you, could you give us a little bit of context to last week? There was a student demonstration. So if you're open to sharing a little bit of like what was going on, and then it is the end of semester, like maybe how the semester has gone, maybe what you're looking forward to for second semester. What else did I ask you that?
So it's Club Unite, how the calendar planning meeting went.
Yeah, because you were both there. Yes.
The demonstration, and then how AI in classrooms.
Right on. Okay.
So, kick it off.
Okay. Well, I chose to talk about the demonstration of my classmates. As we all know, there was a recent ICE walkout protest held at JMS by a few students. Those who went to the protest could have been just to go to skip class or because they feel passionate about the topic they know so much about or so little about, that has so many points of view on. With the protest, most kids, what I've heard in the hallways and class or outside of school, have the wrong understanding of ICE and what the purpose is. I think we could do a better job of helping kids understand what the purpose of ICE is and what it's not about, or what they think it's about. With not a clear understanding of ICE, it can cause tension between classmates. Before this protest and even after it, I've heard most statements from students of why bring politics into school. To me, this is a great question. How some of the students are using politics in class make others, including me, feel uncomfortable, leading to classmates not being able to share their opinions of what they're talking about. An example of this is if another student were to sing a song about a protester being killed at an ICE protest, that would be completely shut down by the school. I'm anticipating. But with a song called "We Are Charlie Kirk" being sung at least every period by one of my classmates, with sounding like the intention of disrespectful to his death. I have noticed, but this has not been shut down by the school yet, but I've noticed that. With that being said, yes, I know it's part of our First Amendment to have the ability of free speech, whether you are right or wrong. But it gets to a point where even events like this make others' opinions seem greater value, creating this domino effect where other kids are afraid to speak up their minds. In all, the ICE protest felt a little too soon for most kids a little too soon for most kids out of not knowing what the protest was all about. And yes, that's all I have.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have a few notes up to that. So from what I saw is it was good for students to be able to know that you have your right to protest and your right to free speech. Although a few students did just use it to get out of class, so that was one thing. But overall, I think it's good that students know that they have these rights. But I think it's just because it's middle schoolers, some kids were like, oh, this is just out of class. Others are just like, I actually believe the cause. So it's kind of just controversial. And it kind of also drew a little bit of a dividing line between people's opinions. It just like where some people like like if someone felt like they were automatically judged or like if someone didn't, it was like kind of dividing line. Although it was good for them to be able, for this to be student organized and led.
So when they were out, did you guys go?
I was no.
No, okay. Do you know when the kids were out there? Do you know anybody that went? Did they have respectful conversations during it, or was it?
I know
That
they
you-
made posters.
Okay.
I know one of the posters said it was like
Nate.
yes, Nate, it was like I like my government how I like my water with no ice. That's like the only one I remember.
Okay.
Kind of clever, but
Yeah.
there's like posters like that. And then I know they just like kind of
Marched.
chanted.
Okay.
I know a few students spoke, the people who had organized it, and then asked others to share experiences.
Okay.
And then they marched around the track, I think. That's pretty much what happened. It was small. I think it only lasted like 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
But-
20 to 40.
I think it was 20 because Miss Lindy. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, girls. I appreciate that.
And then do you want to do
Calendar.
Yes.
yeah calendar? You wanna start on that?
Yeah.
So just let me set it up. So they participated in our calendar planning meeting where we had probably 16 or so people. We had three middle schoolers, 2 high schoolers, and then the staff were represented. So they were phenomenal. And as I had shared, I think a little bit, your perspective and what you shared and just your openness. I was really impressed with like this flexible thinking, understanding like different perspectives was really helpful in what you shared. So give us a little context on what your experience was.
I do know we did decide to present the 1 year, what was it? I can't remember.
Option C.
Option C, yes, to the school board, which is just another week-long break in February, if I'm correct. And it was, I think that's the only difference, really.
For me, personally, it was kind of because I walked into the meeting being like, I don't want this because it would make our summer like because we start on the 24th with that plan, and I'm like, I want more summer. But it was, I don't know, it was good to be presented with all that feedback because then I was able to see, okay, this is what the community wants, this is how it would affect everyone else. And then Mr. Cook, he was at our table, and it was great to hear from a teacher perspective how like, because like then I started to realize like during this break between spring break and winter break, kids get super like annoyed, and it's like just having this semester break is like, oh my gosh, like that's so great just because you get like finals for the first semester, and it's a lot, and so it'd be good to break that up. And so after seeing all the feedback, it was like our initial decisions when we voted for that, it's like, okay, let's try this for a year, and then we'll see like how students like it or whatever, because it does start quite early, but I do think it is good to have that break.
So just so you know, the board will see the calendar at the next board meeting and then it'll decide at the following board meeting. In the last board meeting, we had a conversation about that calendar. And as you heard and we talked about, it is a challenging calendar for families who like need to consider childcare for that February week for the couple days in November. November, probably not so much as that February date. And so it continues to be a conversation the board will have at the next board meeting. Imagine quite a discussion about like what it looks like, even though we see what's happening around us as far as other districts, and Evergreen we're really tracking what Evergreen decides as well. But you're just what you shared. I appreciate, as I shared with the board, that's as many people I think as that have contributed to this discussion and really what we're going to present to the board, but ultimately it's the board's decision on which direction they want to go.
Next time.
yeah,
Jane
Jane.
had a question.
Jane, go ahead,
Yeah.
Jane.
Thank you for your participation in that. Quick question were there any folks that regularly participate in the Skamania County Fair that were part of that? Only asking because my understanding is faculty typically goes back a week prior to the start of the school date. And that would coincide with when the fair is. So for those that have children that have animals or that volunteer there, was that discussed at all? So that's a pretty big event in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw so many students there this last year. I didn't think about that. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but we have a lot of community members that go.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of faculty
Well,
up at Cape participate. And if your child is doing like the animals, et cetera, you have to stay there that week.
Yeah.
It's not an
Yeah.
option to come and go. You're literally staying overnight. So I just would be curious if there was some representation on that committee that presented that point of view and that potential conflict that maybe gets forgotten about if you haven't.
But we can certainly look at the feedback because the open question in the survey might have some specific language to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, what was the other? There was another really good question.
Do AI and Club United.
That's the one.
Yes.
So which one do you want to start with?
I want Club United. Or,
You-
Club United.
You got a lot of good feedback on that one.
Yes, I have been talking to some students and they went last year. I went last year too, and I would say this year is way better than last year. It seems more engaging for students and like for example, they have a baking club, a new pickleball club. I think maybe some new other ones too. Yes, cheer, that's the other one. And it's just like it reaches more student interest, which is kind of what ASB us have been aiming to get at students, which I think is great for student participation.
I think at this point in the year, kids have kind of like settled into like the
Yes.
clubs they're like sticking to. And there's like, it's a constant, like every week there's kids and I think it's starting to kind of form where like you go to your club and you know the people and you know the activities. And it's like for a lot of kids, it's just like there's no schoolwork involved, but you still get to do things you enjoy. And I think it's serving a really important purpose.
So would you recommend we have it next year?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Would you recommend that we start it sooner next year? Or do you think maybe around the 1st of October,
I think that's good.
Because like kids
settle
can
in
settle in
September?
and then they can get it rolling.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like pickleball, cooking, or culinary?
Yeah.
Did you say golf?
I wish, but yeah.
You see that whole side like, yes.
AI. Yeah, you can start that.
Okay, so using AI, I don't use it a ton in class, but we talked to ASB today and just like got feedback from students. So one thing, you have to this, but
Yeah.
is finding like, so when you're in class, like you get a word and like when you have to do a research project or whatever, you use, a lot of students use it and use it for definitions. Like you'll be like, okay, what does this word mean? And it's very helpful with like kind of explaining that in depth. And then it's really useful to study. I know in algebra, some kids use it to make like study guides to prep questions before tests. For notes, they're just putting them into a doc. Like you take so many notes in something, then you're like, okay, just make me a summary of these notes. And then another one is just for research. Miss Lindy, our teacher, she's recommended, she's like, okay, use AI and ask what are some good, like strong sources for this sort of topic. And it's really helpful because instead of like scouring the internet to try and find these, you're just able to go straight to like strong ones that are reliable.
So just yeah, it kind of sums up what I was going to say.
Great.
Just like yeah, again with me, I don't know a lot of big words, but it does help me like understand it, like how to use it in sentences, or there's like also like AI deep dive or something like that, like when you search on Google, yeah. But it's again just like a really helpful tool if it's used correctly.
Great. So we have
Thanks.
our high school reps are doing some research, and at the last meeting, one of them Marley shared just the challenges with AI and the energy usage. And so it was a different perspective that we really hadn't heard. And so I appreciated it. It was really just being cautious. And I think there's more coming out about screen time and how we learn, how we're wired, and we learn from each other. So the board, I think, is being very thoughtful with any kind of policies that we introduce. We're having high school students participate in developing policy. I know legislatively, there's a number of statutes or House bills, Senate bills right now regarding AI. So we'll see what happens. So thank you for sharing that. And really, thank you for asking other students. Like, I know it was a late ask this
Sure.
morning, so that was my bad. I'll
Take
try.
6 classes, plenty of people to talk to.
We
Anything
guys are
else?
social or anything.
Yeah, so anything else you want to share?
Oh, yeah, we could ship it a little bit. We did send out an 8th grade survey, asking what are your interests, what are you looking forward to, or what do you want to know about high school? For example, what does a resume look like? How to get into AP classes, the topics of that. And we had a lot of great responses. We probably should have gone over it before this, but there's we had some other great questions kids asked, so we can bring those next time because like
Can you also share those with Mr. Cook?
He helped us create it, and we have a meeting coming up with him. I think
Okay.
it might be in 2 weeks just to review it.
Okay.
It was mostly, so one thing we noticed is there isn't a lot of information about high school. Like it starts like really close to the end of the year. And so we have so many students who are just like, what's happening? Like there's sports during summer. How does any of that work if you don't have older siblings?
Yeah.
And so our goal is to kind of get more information about that out to students.
So if you could
That's
then
great.
formulate the questions and then let our high school principal know and his team, then they can respond. It's like an FAQ. That could be shared with you as well as maybe we could have some more frequent visits and sooner visits. So you get to know from students or from the administration. Because I know how much you want to hear from adults. So
Do
we can
you guys as middle school students have an opportunity to visit the high school?
I think isn't there one tour? There's a tour, yeah.
There's an event that comes up, which is after hours. I'm not sure if there is one during the school day. So we can, you know.
Do you feel like you need more information ahead of time to prepare you guys for that? Like,
Yeah.
Really young.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
For example, it's like with our school, it's like hundreds are downstairs, 200s are upstairs.
right.
I feel like information like that is going to be helpful for like freshmen, us.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's just going to
Okay.
be really great
Right.
because I don't want to be lost on my first day of school going
Sure.
there.
Yes.
Not
That's
well
fair.
looking forward to
You
it.
wouldn't be the first.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
I think that's it.
Thank you guys for
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
So glad we have
I
middle
think-
schoolers.
oh
I
my
love
gosh.
we middle schoolers here.
Wow.
It just makes my heart happy.
Yes.
All right, on to, we're doing school board appreciation.
Well, I just wanted one more opportunity to
I'm like, you
share.
appreciate us more.
Yeah,
Thanks, Aaron.
so,
Feel appreciated.
yeah, we kind of did it, didn't we? And then Corey asked me, and I said, I just want one more opportunity to share. We have these great posters that we brought from Hathaway, and you are more than welcome to take them with you. But we still have a few more days left in January.
Sound good?
So, yeah, again, your dedication and your commitment and your follow through and just your availability is so helpful. Thank you. You're in a leadership role. It's a voluntary leadership role, which comes with an enormous amount of pressure and expectations and accountability. And so thank you for being willing to serve. So appreciated. And Jim, we're gonna miss you.
Sure are.
Well, miss you.
Your leadership, and I go back to like our first board meeting where I got to sit next to you when I was doing my role. You were new in that position, and so just learning more about you, and then the times where you've and I shared with the post record like just when you've challenged what you see and having the courage to do that, and yet at the same time you continue to support our staff and our students and prioritize because you understand the work. So, but you also represent a lot of people who some communicate with you and most don't.
Right.
So thank you for that and for your roles and continuing to stay on and your willingness to be president and vice president and fill those positions. So we really do value you and appreciate all that you do, and it matters.
I'll say as a soon to be member of the general public, I appreciate your willingness to serve in the leadership roles.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your service
Yeah.
over the past number of years.
Yeah, well,
Yes. You were very helpful as I took over this position and then you get it. So I appreciate it.
Okay, that
All
was
right.
Thank you.
All right, so what do we got next? Okay, we don't have any citizen comment tonight, so we have our contract for turf and track replacement at Fishbeck Stadium.
Yes, okay, so I just want to get to, I had shared some information with you. So you have, I think, the agreement, the cost associated with it. I know there's some discussions about synthetic turf, or we've had some discussions, there might be some concerns about synthetic versus natural grass. And so what I provided was a little bit of context to, like, I think it's really what our decision is based on. And as Les and I talked a little bit about it, and I think I'd mentioned, like, we've had a synthetic turf field for 25 years. So when I joined in 2001, 2002, it was a new turf. And it was a part of the high school remodel and a number of investments. And that was one of them. And the reason that this community, the district went to that turf in 2001, 2002 was because of the challenges with maintaining natural grass. And so this will be the third turf. And I do believe, and I the specific questions I have about, like, so I read an article, and you had shared an article with me about what is challenging or dangerous or concerning about synthetic. And it is, I think there's like three possibilities, really. There's the temperature of the turf, which isn't necessarily a challenge in our
Here,
part of the country,
Right.
but at different times it is. And there was one year where we talked about, after our first turf we need to replace, we looked at black turf for a short period of time. And it did not resonate with hardly anybody.
No.
And one of the concerns was the temperature that would be we'd be dealing with is because of that color.
Especially because it's
It's
hot during
right?
football.
Yeah. So anyway, so there's the temperature, there's the actual surface and the collision and the landing and like what that impact is. So we have to consider the product and making sure that that the GMAC is GMAX is the test that happens annually that we're responsible for when a student athlete or a student lands on the turf or community member. And so that shock that's there, and then that's what it consists of, like the product that they use. And I think I think that's the biggest concern is what product is used and what's the results of that. And that was, I think, the main part of the article was about that product. And so I do know with the organization that we are have asked you to consider there is a different product that can be used that I think is a safer. There's a cost to it. There's a premium to that. And I think it's about $20,000. So
More than what?
yeah, so there's an additional cost
Yeah,
to using this product, and I included it in the communication towards the bottom.
yeah, I saw that. I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah, so I had just added that, and I needed to confirm with the organization. I needed to confirm with them and RNC, who's helping us with this, that was available. So there's really two things. So as far as the hardness of it, there's a pad. If that was the concern, there's a pad that can be introduced that's it's over $100,000, but that would help if that's the concern.
Makes it less hard. You make
Yes,
it
yeah.
fall on,
And it actually it's a 10-year warranty, or maybe a little bit longer warranty on that. So it actually will last.
longer
It
than
might even be 20 years. It'll last. So
as long as anything.
then I mean, yeah, it'll stay when we replace the turf
Okay.
again. And then there's also this product that's available. If we want to have more, if we want to have some discussion about that, if we want to pause and like continue to have discussion about this, that's also a possibility.
I'll just give my
Yeah.
opinion. And it reflects back to the old days before there was artificial turf. And it was cinder track and got all scraped up on cinders, and it was grass. And
Yeah.
stuff happened on grass too.
Yeah.
Was the latest and greatest. And every high school in the Philadelphia suburban area strive to have an artificial turf field to be competitive.
Yeah.
Then I have this experience with my cousin who was a city manager, and the latest and greatest road technology was grinding up rubber tires and incorporating them into the asphalt surface. And it lowered the noise. It was a softer ride, quieter. The latest and greatest. His city did that. 10 years later, they discovered that all that rubber dust is being inhaled by the citizens of the city, lodging in their livers and brains with unknown consequences. And my concern with artificial turf in general is just that we don't know what the consequences are of ground rubber dust going into the watershed, in the groundwater, or going into the lungs of our players. And I think just acknowledging that we're doing this experiment on high school athletes to see what that does, if anything, maybe nothing. But in my life of exposure to chemicals, there were chemicals that were widely used and available that are now not allowed in Europe or the US. And I think that's my only concern. I think I like grass. It does come with a cost. There are whole departments of turf management at ag schools out there. So it's an employment issue for turf managers. But my concern in terms of as a taxpayer and a member of the community is that liability if in fact something is known about the chemical safety of these products and we ignore that, we're putting our community in a position of fiscal liability. I mean, all it takes is one kid that has rubber particles in their liver and gets liver cancer, and say a highly legalistic family could bring that to our attention, let's say. But I don't know the answers to that, and I have trust in you, Aaron, and the organization to evaluate those things.
Yeah, and
those are my concerns.
Right, I appreciate that, and and that is a position that as we do research, that's a common position, and there's a response to that, right? Just as in every case, and then you start to think about children's toys. And what those are made of. Right. And when I met when I spent the day on the Hill yesterday, cookware and lead in cookware. And so here in the state of Washington, where that is something that's not the state's not interested in, but so there's legislation about lead in cookware. So and then then you get into natural grass, and I know we don't want to sit here and debate it, but natural grass, we use a product. We use multiple products. There's chemicals.
The herbicides.
Yeah, the herbicides
and grass.
The research I did is.
So anyway, and that's I know that's but I guess it's the being thoughtful and considerate, and that's why there is this root zone GT that is more environmentally safe. And again, it comes with a price tag.
Right.
So Sadie.
I didn't see what you found. What is your, because I feel like you brought that up. So what is your thing, or not thing, but what is your thought on this?
Yeah, I had just read a number of articles with concerns of turf for the reasons you listed, like the heat.
Yeah.
I think that's probably less of an issue in our area. And the chemicals, players going to play and then they come home and there's particles and it's getting in their, it's on them, it's in their laundry, it's,
On the laundry room floor.
yeah, and they're chemically based, right? So they're, and at any rate, those were, I think, some of the major concerns. And I guess not to sound indifferent, but I'm less concerned about like the injury, maybe because I just don't know much about it. I was focused more on like the environmental aspect and the health.
Yeah, well, I will tell you that. Football is a collision sport.
Yep.
And so there are injuries. Soccer is played on that field in the fall and in the spring. So there's a number of things that happen, and sometimes those collisions It isn't because they landed on it.
Right.
Right? Sometimes it is as well. So I appreciate that. Like you're trying to figure out what exactly are the concerns.
It's a major investment that we're gonna have
Yeah.
for a really long time. It just seems like we should be thoughtful about.
Yeah, and I will tell you, thank you. And we have vetted this decision and we've spent, and it may not seem like it because, you know, it has come out multiple times. When we talk about the $50,000 that we're setting aside, and we know, and we are to the point where there really isn't much more we can do with this turf as far as this testing that has to happen annually. Like we've done multiple things and it has reached its point.
Lifetime.
Yeah, it's lifetime.
Yeah.
And so,
And the track.
and this is where, like, when you're thinking about, like, what is the deciding factor? Well, I don't know that there's one thing, which is what I was trying to present. Like, there's a lot of things to consider, like to go in a different direction at this point there would be a much larger cost
Yeah.
because of how it's set up, right? Which is, these are really, I wasn't even thinking about, unfortunately, like, you know, like we have an existing track
The bedding,
system.
road bed, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, those, all those things that are a part of it. And, you know, when we look around, and Les had asked me, like, how many natural turf fields are there in like the school districts?
That's what I looked at that
So
too.
Hawkinson has one, and it really, they've been wanting to get a
Synthetic.
synthetic turf, and it really is because of where we live. And you think about, and some of the articles that described, well, you can have this pristine natural grass, and really the soccer, high level soccer, they prefer grass,
Right.
natural grass. For a lot of reasons, but I think there's less injuries at that level. So you see those games are played, collegiate games are mostly played, but they also have a budget. So that's so
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
you gotta factor that in, right? They have a budget for that. And we don't have a maintenance team right now that would support the upkeep.
Mhm.
And so that's why it's a benefit to have synthetic for that reason.
Right.
Because the upkeep, there's still upkeep, it's just not as demanding as natural grass. And then Les reminded me, and again, I wasn't here, but he was here when the demands on that, like you just have to stay off it. Because once the rainy season
natural
starts,
grass.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
you just.
JMS has the football field and I mean, kids are twisting their ankles and the kids
Yeah.
the athletes don't like playing on
Yep.
it
Goose
because it's
population.
just, because you can't get.
Yeah, there's, and we didn't even mention the goose
and the
in the
goose-
article, there's no goose mentioned.
In the goose coop.
The, I mean, I guess I would summarize by saying a decision was made 20 years ago or 25 years ago to go this direction.
Yeah.
The investment in the infrastructure was made then. You know, changing now would be
Major.
a major reinvestment. And you know, short of evidence saying that our athletic field is poisoning the salmon run, I have a tendency to continue
Yeah,
with the program.
And you
as-
said we have to
as
test it
instituted
every
years
year.
ago.
Is that what you said?
we test the GMAX, yes,
That's the physical,
it's the hardness,
physical
yeah, there's
resilient,
there's a
okay.
process
right?
it's used on all these surfaces.
Right. But thinking back when this decision was originally made, groundwater runoff, salmon
Yeah,
fisheries was not
something that was really a priority. at
really
the
even
time.
considered.
Yeah.
And now taxpayers are spending big money on restoration projects to bring back fisheries, and I hope we don't end up as a community 5 or 10 years from now realizing that, oh, wow, we'll be forced to get rid of all that artificial turf if we want to have salmon, but
Yeah.
we're here now.
So I guess if I could, so we've been setting aside 50K for a while.
Mhm.
And then I'm guessing it's not enough. So,
Right.
but, so where the remainder is coming from our capital fund from the levy, was that?
Capital projects, so we have capital projects, other sources, so like, this year during the budget, you approved the move, interest earned in debt service fund to capital projects, that was 400,000. So that is pretty much the remainder of the
Okay.
year.
And included in this is the track. So the track, I don't know that we replaced the track. So it's
Mhm.
25 years old, which that's really
Sure.
It shows,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, so that's why that didn't happen the last time we replaced this. We didn't have to do that. We've made some, so had to spend some money on the track, but just been in certain locations. We had to fix parts of it, but this is a major, resurfacing that as well. So that's where, so that's where the rest of the dollars are, what Shalice mentioned.
Kind of a sideline on that is the jump to guard track is showing its age as well. In terms of the surface.
Yeah, so it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is natural turf field, but the track is synthetic and it shows its age.
Yeah.
And at some point it'll become a trip hazard or something for
agreed.
runners.
Yeah. And that's what happened at the high school. There were like corners, some specific areas that we had to repair.
Yeah.
And if you changed it to, let's just say grass, that would affect the track too, right?
It does, yeah. We'd have to,
Because we'd have to, it would have to be different.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, I think I'm good with this. I'm not interested in paying an extra 161,000 for
the shock pad.
Yeah.
but I do feel like maybe the 20K is worth it to have something more sustainable.
Yep.
If it's gonna last that long, but that's
I agree
my
with that.
opinion.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
It just seems like cost benefit might
Okay.
be worth it
Gotcha.
if we can afford it.
Yeah. And the shock pad, and when we looked at like the type of track, like there were different levels.
Yeah.
And we didn't go for the most
Cadillac.
expensive track.
Right. We
Because
didn't
with
get
the
the
collegiate track, we also didn't go with the basic track because this is the high school. I think if it was a different location, we might go with that. It's the 100 series. So, and then as well, as far as this goes, like that shock pad, isn't required. It's an option. And we feel like, as I mentioned, it would increase potentially the value or the duration of that turf. We're going to continue to budget for this.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that, and there's things that we can do to prolong the life of that.
Does the WIA have any recommendations or criteria for high school tracks in the state?
No, I don't think so.
Or
I don't think so.
kids.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But Department of Health has some
Guidelines.
information
I
about
can
that.
ask him that.
Specific.
I'm on that committee.
Okay, so thank you. We'll certainly hear that as far as the root zone GT. So we will look into that, and we'll give you an update. But I think that
So we'll
they're
hold on.
aware that that those potentially direction would go.
I mean, is the administration interested in the shock pad? Like, do you?
No, we didn't. Like that was
Okay.
originally, no, we didn't. Mainly it was that the additional cost
Yeah.
for a few more years. And then it raises the level of the turf. So you have the track and then you would have this, it's
Another.
Okay.
it's not an unnatural, it's
Yeah.
it's an unnatural. So there's
Okay.
they somehow, that transition, they worked through, but it's, that was going to be a bit challenging.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we wait then before we approve this, or do we want to?
Jane, want to see if Jane has any?
Yeah, Jane, do you have anything on this?
You guys covered it all. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to vote then, or do you want to?
I don't think, I think we were only going to wait if you wanted me to
Make any big changes?
yeah.
Okay. Do I have an approval for the contract for the turf and track replacement at Fishback Stadium?
I'll move to approve.
All in favor?
I'll second.
Oh, sorry. Second. Jeez. All in favor now?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
All right, next up, we've got our policy revision. This will be our second reading for policy 3207, which is the harassment and intimidation and bullying.
Yes, so at the first reading,
Yeah.
both Jane and Paul said, it doesn't really, and I think Jim, you also weighed in on this, doesn't really say student to student, which is the major update.
Yeah.
So we have, thanks to Corey, we've identified in 2 locations that it clearly states in the policy it's student to student.
Yep.
So I believe this is I think that was the only really concern is we want to be really clear that this policy states it, even though in the procedure you could find it, it's very clear now
Mhm.
in the policy.
Right. Looks good to me.
So I don't know if there was any other questions about this.
Jane, did you have anything on this one?
That is a no.
Don't think it was-
That's a no.
Sorry, technical issue. I said nothing, and thank you for the additions for clarity.
Thank you. All right, if we don't have anything more on that one, do I have a approval for policy 3207?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, just, we've got our comments for the, from the board of directors. Jim, I'll start with you since it's your last time.
Okay, yeah, it's been real. Been a very interesting experience. Never ran for anything in my life. And it was, I went through the election. It was an actual election that I ran. And then COVID happened. It was quite interesting times. I have notes on my computer that I'm not going to read of all of the names I've been called publicly here in this room over the course of those COVID years. Maybe I'll publish that sometime in a letter to the editors or something. And the threats that were made, et cetera, et cetera. But it's been an honor to be on this board and all the boards I've been part of. I mean, the board's turnover and I think everybody I've worked with on the school board has taken it seriously and had an opinion that they're willing to share, and collegially hearing about other school boards' lack of collegiality, it makes me proud to be part of Washougal. And the last thing is our ballots arrived and everybody needs to vote for that levy. I just put my ballots in the mail today.
Good.
So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that flies through on the first round and takes a lot of angst and anxiety out of everyone else. So
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir. Jane, did you have anything tonight?
Not on my end.
Okay. Ida, new vice president.
Yeah, I don't really have anything. I just wanna, again, thank Jim. And don't be a stranger.
I'm a stranger than you know.
And if you're ever bored on a Tuesday evening,
Yeah.
we
I'll know
have
how to-
someplace you can go.
Yeah. I'd
Be in the audience.
Sleepless on a Tuesday evening at 6.
Yes, also, Jim, thank you so much. You were such an amazing mentor to me when I first took over president. And you were extremely helpful and I really appreciate that. And you'll be missed. We'll still have to go on walks. Thank you to my board for entrusting me again as your president. I don't take that lightly and I do appreciate that. I think that's pretty much it. Yes, please vote for our levy. I did mine today.
Levies.
Yeah, you might see us on the corner seeing the levy, but other than that, that's all I've got. Aaron.
All right, so yes, there's an open board position. Here it
Yes,
is
there
in the
it is.
post record,
Saw that.
little article that says WSD is accepting applications for board positions. So there we go. We got it
Fancy.
posted. And so that's available for anyone who is interested in position 1.
Yeah.
And so big shoes to fill. As I had mentioned, I have spoken with someone who reached out as a result of someone who connected with this person, one of our row members. And so connected this individual with me. So anyone who's interested can reach out to me, to Corey, get the details about that position and what you need, what happens. So that's good news. We've got that posted. We got this nice article about it. Levy Roadshow. So did 20 plus. I have a Levy Roadshow tomorrow at the chamber. Last week was during a Rotary meeting. I got to present. I had 15 minutes to present and I nailed it perfectly in 15 minutes. Les spoke to the port. And so was able to speak with the individuals, the port commissioners and Trang. So last week. So we've been communicating information, facts about this renewal levy and been really emphasizing that it's a renewal. And even when people say, no, it's a new tax, I've followed up with those individuals and said, no, this is why it's a renewal. And so I had really good conversations with Rotarians. I'm looking forward to the meeting with the chamber, several booster groups, all of our staff. And so, yeah, thank you for bringing that up for people to vote, encouraging people to vote. And I've seen that on Facebook from multiple people, like vote. It's important. Exercise that, please. And so we did send these out. I think you received these,
Sure did.
just so you have just a. There we go. Yeah.
In case I need to share it with everybody.
Wonderful flyer that was put together. Thank you, Les and ESD 112 for helping us put this together. So everyone, every address in Washougal received one of these beautiful documents that
They're
states
just talking.
clearly, lots of information.
Every voter, I think.
Yeah.
Every voter, yes,
Put it- put it
yes,
have on
yep.
hand when they ask
Yeah,
questions.
and so there's more information on our website, and FAQ, when we keep updating the FAQ. Recently, there was a good question about declining enrollment and why is it the school district continues to ask this amount and why does it go up? Because of inflationary adjustments, because we have fixed costs associated with running all of our buildings and all of our programs. Those are fixed. So, having 16 students in a classroom, 27 students in a classroom, like it still costs to have a teacher,
Right.
utilities, the insurance, all those things that are crucial to running a school district. So that was a really good question that was on Facebook that then we could share specifically why that we've identified this amount that it bridges the gap in funding that exists because of this prototypical funding model, and that the requirements are what our community expects from us. So looking forward to next couple of weeks. Yeah, go ahead.
Say something about that. Ultimately, I still hope the legislature will fully fund public education as
Yes.
our Constitution expects. I think about the cost of running special elections in all 300 school districts every 3 years.
Yeah.
Asking for the same money again, it's absurd.
Yep. Thank you. And I had a chance to talk with the Post Record last week. So there'll be an article hopefully maybe this week or the next week. And what are we trying to do? Like what have we learned? Like, to be transparent. We are being transparent with our decisions. I feel like anyone who asks, we provide information. So this is something we've learned. With transparency comes trust. So thank you for that reminder about continuing to advocate. So upcoming day on the Hill, I'm going to be going with some students at the high school next week. So looking forward to that, meeting with legislative representatives, having our students tell their story. So appreciate that being organized, and Jacob is really the one facilitating it. I got to shadow Senator Harris yesterday and thoroughly enjoyed that opportunity. I learned a lot from just watching him, listening to him. Got to attend a committee meeting, the education committee meeting. So really was quite an experience for me. And at different times, he asked me for my thoughts. But my purpose was just to learn more about the process. And I appreciate Senator Harris's willingness to have me tag along and to be there through probably 8 different meetings, maybe 8 to 10 meetings in about a 5-hour period of time. Quite a schedule with little breaks in between. And every time we had a break, he would say, "Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for me? How can I help you?" So it was just really appreciate that opportunity, and it's fascinating. And as one of his assistants said, everybody should have an opportunity to see that, because they're leaders. They're accepting, just as you are, this leadership position, and not everyone wants to do it. And so I appreciate our legislative representatives at Senator Harris. Baseball, softball field, we keep working on it. So anyone who's interested, check out what's happening at the high school. They were working on it today. So I appreciate that. There was a big crane at Hathaway as we're fixing the heating system within the library. That was quite impressive to see that giant crane. And then the last thing is Molly Costin's Celebration of Life was on Saturday at the high school. And so we had Marcus Bennett helped with, he was our technician for lights and sound. He did an excellent job. We had someone managing the kitchen. So Alex helped with that. And so appreciate everyone who participated in getting it ready, because that doesn't happen automatically, right? There's a number of hours that go into getting a space ready, but it was well done. Jim spoke about Molly and just working with her. And so thank you. She was an amazing person who was a leader in so many different capacities for so long. And so I learned a lot from her as a young principal in some of the things that were shared by the individuals who spoke. Like I just could really connect to my experience with her and as Rotarian. So she will be missed. She has really, though I think will be remembered for all the things that she has done. And you talked about that, and so many people just I appreciate what was said.
Yeah.
In honoring her. So I was glad that we could provide that space.
That was
It was a good
event
turnout.
It was
for that kind of event.
it was. Yep.
Don't like
Yeah,
to
celebrating
Yeah, you
her,
don't
so-
want that, but.
Yep. All right, that is it. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys, we don't have any citizen comments for the general. Do we have any future agenda items that we would like to add to the agenda? Do we have anything? No, not right now. Okay. Evaluations are on our Google Forms and it is 7:25 and our meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.